Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So we're doing something a little bit silly today. We are taking some old games kind of from like the mid to late 2000s and we're going to see how they perform on the nvidia 4080 Super paired with the 5800 X3D processor from AMD. So we're going to see if we get outrageous frame rates. We're going to see if we can even get the games to run at all. I mean, that's a total possibility. It may be that they run like absolute garbage. Of course, you've got to keep in mind that a lot of these games kind of from the early, mid, late 2000s, they weren't really high refresh rate aware, if that makes sense. You know, Doom 3, for example, I believe, actually the engine is coded to not go above 60 FPS. So we are going to be trying a variety of different games. There are actually quite a lot of them are on sale at the moment on Steam for really good prices. So if you are fancy and dipping your toe into a little bit of retro gaming, I think you could probably have a really good time. Or we're going to find out if we can anyway by the end of this video. It may be this is all a horrible waste of money. I've been on the Steam store this morning. I've bought a load of old games. So let's jump in. Let's start with Doom 3. Let's see if A, it can even run, and B, if it runs nicely. No way. It actually looks quite good. Weird how it's not quite getting to 60 FPS. I wonder why that is. Yeah, so like right now, walking around here, look at the GPU, kind of at about 30-ish%. So it's barely breaking a sweat. The CPU, again, barely breaking a sweat. Odd that we're not getting to like a locked 60 FPS. That is a little bit strange. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe it's a limitation with the game itself, the engine, who knows. But, you know, it's really cool, though, just to be sat here playing this game. When did this come out? 2004? And here we are in 2024, playing it in 4K. In what is a really playable experience. And you notice how we didn't have to make an account when we logged in. We just loaded the game. The game was like, oh, you've paid. That's fine. Come on in. No need to, like, you know, suck up all your data with an account. It's just play the game, enjoy the game. No in-app purchases. It really was a different time. It really was. Good days. Right, let's move on. Awesome. So here we are running at 4K in the menu, 158 frames a second at 4K. Let's just check in here, see what's going on. Yeah, it looks like we're fully maxed out. Decent. Decent, decent, decent. Very high, very high, very high. Nice. All right, let's jump into a game, shall we? Oh, I remember this like it was yesterday. Look at our FPS. 4K as well, 500 FPS. Oh man, how cool is this? So unlike Doom, this does not have a frame rate cap, which I'm very grateful for. Okay, let's go. Oh my goodness. I remember looking out of this window, like when I first got the game. I just bought an nvidia 6800 Ultra, I want to say. It was like PCIe Gen 1, that's what we're talking about. AMD Athlon 64-3500 CPU, I think. Like, I was so proud of that machine. It's the first one I've built properly. Like, I was just a kid in school, really. I remember looking out this window just being like, oh my god, look at it. Like, this is next gen. I mean, it doesn't look terrible, but it goes to show how your mind does play tricks on you. Oh, wow, look at that. Look at that. 320, 330 FPS. The GPU is actually maxed out, so that's clearly what's limiting us, but the game is basically letting the FPS just run away with itself. That's crazy. That doesn't look bad, does it? Not really. Not for its time. And we're sat here again, 20 plus years later, running in 4K. And we didn't have to mod anything or go into any config files with this game. Not like we did with Doom.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, let's go. Still got it. And it's crazy to think that this is kind of like the beginnings of what was Crysis and everything that kind of followed for the Cry engine. And all the Far Cry games that followed it. 400 FPS, that's amazing. Absolutely amazing at 4K. I mean, goodness knows what would get a 1080p. I mean, it's kind of just so cool to be able to replay these games at 4K all those years later. And this is just off of Steam. You know, I just picked it up for I don't know what it was. It wasn't much. I haven't had to do any like crazy modding of the old games. Like, I didn't get the old discs out. I mean, I've probably got them in the loft somewhere, but oh, this is so cool. I'm having a proper nostalgia trip here. Right, I need to move on to the next game before I'm just here all day playing Far Cry. I'll see you in a minute. So here we are in Painkiller. I absolutely adored this game. Really, really did. Just pure nonsensical running around with weapons, shooting skeletons, other such nonsense to a really awesome backing track. I'm going to have to mute the music probably because I'll get copyrighted out of my mind. YouTube's pretty hot on stuff like that these days. But this is kind of like my first experience of what you would call a run and gun, where you just kind of run around and just mindlessly shoot. It's incredibly satisfying. It's almost a bit like what the new Dooms are like. Well, obviously Doom took it a lot further. This is quite a simple game, really. You don't really do a lot. You just clear an area and then move along to the next one. It really is as simple as that. But look at those frames per second. We're here at like 750 frames a second in 4K. And again, I haven't had to do any real fiddling around, not like we did with Doom. I've just loaded the game and just started playing. We had a little bit of a hard time in the menu, so these old games are going to show their quirks, I think it's fair to say. But I just love that they're still playable over 20 years later. And to think the systems that we built for these games back in the day, like, you know, I spoke about it earlier when we were playing Far Cry, that I built a system using an nvidia 6800 Ultra. Like, that was an expensive card, especially when I was in school. Like, I saved up all my paper round money and bought all the parts, researched it. That was my first PC build. It's really kind of what paved the way for everything that kind of I am now with PCs. It's funny to think about how like gaming can be almost like the gateway drug, I suppose, into getting into computers in quite a serious way. What a cool game, though. Absolutely awesome. It plays really well. Feels lovely and smooth. Really does. I mean, it ought to at like 500-600 FPS, but, you know, what are you going to do? Awesome. Awesome, awesome. I'm definitely, in my free time, I'm going to come back and have to play this. I really am. What a great result. What a great day. Oh, man, I loved Half-Life 2. Such a great game. I mean, look at it. Look how well this game is aged. So if you haven't played Half-Life 2, just for goodness sake, like, whatever you're doing, just stop it and go and play Half-Life 2 immediately. Such a great game. Such a great game. And you got to keep in mind that, you know, this is all built on the Source engine, and we were kind of... Aha, look, right. And it was all about physics. You know, the Source engine was all about gaming with physics. It really kind of brought games to life that were quite boring and flat before. So we've got all these guys up on the bridge here, but look what's beneath. There we go, take the bridge out. That's what the Source engine can do. So you can see, running at 4K, 295 FPS locked. You're a bit of a tough guy, aren't you? Where's that? Oh, there you are. Do I need to work on my aim? Definitely need to work on my aim. Right, where am I going? Yeah, it seems like the Source engine has got an FPS cap of 295 FPS, and yeah, the GPU's sitting at what, around 60 FPS? Such a good game though. Again, like at 4K, like these old games, they don't look bad. It's running lovely and smooth. Sometimes with the older games, you can kind of... high frame rates can actually be bad for them because, yeah, they weren't designed... the engines weren't designed to run at that high frame rate. But... this one doesn't seem to be affected in the slightest. I mean, look at those water effects. I mean, this is what, 2003? And it was this and Doom 3, really, for me, that made me build a new computer when I was... however old. Awesome. Well, I'm going to stop here while I'm ahead. Let's check out Counter-Strike Source, actually, because obviously this game was built on the Source engine, and that was a huge deal. And obviously, Counter-Strike Source released alongside it. Now, I remember going from Counter-Strike 1.6 to Source and remember it just thinking, oh my god, this looks awesome. Like, how a game's going to look any better than this? I remember saying that to my friend, like, I can't see how games could ever look any better. Let's jump in and, well, frankly, see how wrong I was. I'll see you in a sec. I have no idea what server I'm on. I've just had to kind of pick a server at random. But you can see we're capped at that 295 FPS. And it is running like absolute butter. Oh, I'm gonna die. Don't do it. Yeah, get out of here, you. Let's go. Clearly on a noob server. Look at me, I'm absolutely destroying these guys. Yeah, you know it. That was taken from Unreal Tournament, was it not? Incredible scenes here. I am a CS god. Probably because I'm running at like 4K. How have they not shot me yet? What's the matter with you lot? Alright. Come on. Peek. Oh, I'm just having so much fun. Double kill. Right, if anyone wants to know anything about how to be a Counter-Strike god, leave me a comment. So we've got it maxed out. Look at the GPU though. It's basically running at like 75 FPS, so it's having a good workout. It's not like, you know, these games are just completely trivial for it. Awesome. Great stuff. I'm having just such a great day. I really am. Alright, so here we are in Grand Theft Auto 4. We're just kind of driving through the center island. I'm doing a very bad job of driving. Actually, the frame rates aren't as crazy as what we've been used to so far in this video. I thought maybe they'd be a little bit higher than what we're seeing, but I have got it absolutely cranked, and we are at 4K. I'm not running any mods or anything. I know there's a big community. Obviously, this game has been out a long time now, and there's a ton of mods, like, you know, ultra-realism, photorealism mods, that kind of thing. Have I taken a wrong turn? I think I probably have. When we were in our house, where the game loaded, because we were just in like, it's just a tiny room, it was getting like 450 FPS, and I thought, oh, okay, that's, you know, kind of, I semi-expected something like that to happen. But as soon as we got outside and into the city, I mean, look at that. That looks great. I mean, we're not quite at 20 years since this game has been out, but it's getting on for it. And we're in 4K, everything maxed at over 100 FPS. That is absolutely awesome. I'm going to go and try and find us a helicopter, wait until it's daytime, and we'll do a flyover, and we'll just kind of see what the draw distance is like. Look at this. This is like Times Square, isn't it? I'm glad we came here at night. Right, I think I know where there's a helicopter. It's been a long time since I played this, but I've got a funny feeling if I keep going down here, make a couple of lefts, basically get down to the bottom of the island, there will be a helicopter bay. Alright, let's take this helicopter up. First of all, look at those reflections in the water. This game came out in 2007, and look at those reflections in the... I think it was 2007. Look at it, man. That's awesome. Now, this is the first game we've played so far today where we needed to log in. I had to log into the Rockstar Social Club, so I guess that was kind of... That was a bit of a sad moment, because it's kind of been really nice just to load games and just play the games and not have to deal with accounts and, you know, all this rubbish that gaming has come to encompass these days. Look at that cityscape. What an awesome game. Roman, go away, I'm trying to make a video. Yeah, absolutely incredible. I tell you what, GTA 6 is going to have some work to live up to this game. GTA 4 still holds a very, very special place in my heart. It really does. 5 was good. I enjoyed 5. It was a great game. Solid game. Recommend it. Look back on it fondly. But this game had like a grit to it and a sense of humour to it that really kind of hit home with me a lot. Kind of that grittiness of Liberty City, like the New York kind of vibe. Alright, back in the helicopter. Of course, now it's daytime. I just wanted to see how far that draw distance kind of goes out, given that we've cranked it all the way to 100. Let's just get a little bit higher. Yeah, you can sort of see it. It's quite hazy. I don't know whether that's like the actual in-game weather or whether that's a technique for them to hide the fact that the draw distance is being clipped. I don't think it is though, because look, you can see all the way over to the other island there. You can basically see the entire map from up here. I think it must be in-game weather. Yeah, because look, there's the airport. That is literally the entire GTA map we can see. and we're getting 135 FPS in 4K, maxed out, everything to the max. So this game, F.E.A.R, used to be I used to love this game. Used to terrify me half to death, but
hey bro, what took you so long?
I used to very much enjoy it.
Try to find a way around.
And the whole thing with this game when it came out, I seem to remember, was the fact that, you know, the shadows were such good quality. And the glass on the doors was used quite a lot to kind of, you know, lots of, you know, like you get privacy glass like on bathrooms and things like that. That kind of thing was used quite heavily, I seem to remember. Yeah, look at those shadows coming, or the beams of light coming through that window. Like, I know we've got ray tracing now, and I know that it's, you know, ultimately not that impressive. C to crouch. But you got to keep in mind when this came out. I'm sure some of you are wondering, like, I'm talking about light and things. Something that comes to my mind is BioShock, because they obviously did a lot with water. But I've got to be honest, I never really got into BioShock. Never did a huge amount for me. But look here, look, we're running at over 600 FPS in 4K. Like, these games, like, the money that I spent to
Hold on a sec.
to try and play these games 20 years ago, and now, you know, these machines we have now can just absolutely eat them up, even at 4K. Absolutely awesome. What is going on here? Yeah, thoroughly recommend you check out these games. Like, go onto the Steam store. I think I only paid like a couple of quid for this. You'll have a great time. You really will. If you're fed up with gaming, you don't know what to play, you're fed up with free-to-play, you're fed up with constantly being monetized, give these games a chance. Give them a shot. They play, as you can see here, really, really well. Alright, can the 4080 run Crysis, albeit Crysis Remastered? We are maxed out. 4K. Just getting 60 FPS. Just above it. Wow. Alright, so, we didn't turn on DLSS. We're getting nearly 70 FPS. Look, that's not bad. Don't be put off by any screen tearing. It's because I'm on a 60 Hz 4K display. If we're on a variable refresh rate thing, things would be different, I assure you. Let's see what a difference DLSS can make. Let's do DLSS quality, because I think at 4K that gives you actually quite a nice visual experience. There we go. Look, up into the 80s and the 90s. I don't know about you, but I can't really tell a huge amount of difference. 4K DLSS quality, I'd say you're pretty much there in terms of a good experience. Let's try this ray tracing mode that is apparently experimental. See how that impacts our FPS. There you go, turn that on, apply, yes, it's fine. Well, the FPS doesn't seem to have tanked too much. Comfortably in the 80s. So we can confirm the 4080 Super can run Crysis, albeit Crysis Remastered. I'm sorry it's not the original one, but I looked at the price tag for buying it and it's like, yeah, you know what? This channel's barely making any money, and it's actually quite a lot of money for a game I'm frankly never going to play. So you're going to have to make do with the remastered one I already had in my game library. But honestly, if you're going to be playing Crysis in this day and age, this is probably the one you should be playing, really. There we go. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been a huge amount of fun. Oh god, I'm getting into a fight when I'm trying to end the video. It's been really fun checking out all these old games, and it kind of makes you think, actually, that gaming, current day gaming, could learn a lot from 20-year-old gaming, if that makes sense. Like, you know, you can just load these games, you don't need accounts, you just log in, you don't need to buy any extras, you can just enjoy the game, play the game, not constantly being farmed for, like, money. It was a different time. You know, you could go into a shop, pay your 60 quid, come home, play a game. Sadly, I think those days are quite far behind us, and with the obsession over free-to-play and microtransactions, I can't see it changing anytime soon. But you can, as we've proven today, go back and enjoy these old games and have an absolutely amazing time. I'm going to end the video before I get shot to pieces here on Crysis, but good to see that our FPS is still remaining nice and high. Thanks very much for watching. Leave us a comment if you've got any questions. I'll try and write back to you if I can, and I'll see you all in the next video. Cheers, I'm going to run away like a coward. Ah.